Welcome everyone. Thank you very much for joining in. As you can see, we had one session earlier. It was an overview session for career abroad, and now this is a deep dive session specifically for Australia. And so this is career opportunities in Australia for students and professionals. You have already seen this teaser, right? So amazing opportunities for many different professions. Let's get started. So let me start with a video of MVPM to give you an idea as what MVPM is and what all things we are doing.
MVPM लक्ष्य वही पर उड़ान नहीं, एक सुनहरे भविष्य की ओर अग्रसर। कहते हैं ना, if your plan is for 1 year, plant rice. If your plan is for 10 years, plant trees. If your plan is for 100 years, educate children. इसी विचार से प्रेरित होकर अपने शताब्दी वर्ष की ओर बढ़ रहे MVPM ने भविष्य के लिए कई परियोजनाएं सोच रखी हैं। हॉस्टल ऑन डिमांड, भविष्य की जरूरतों को देखते हुए अगले 2 से 3 वर्षों में हर माहेश्वरी युवक युवती को हॉस्टल की सुविधा मिले, ये इरादा है। इसी दिशा में आज मुंबई में कन्या छात्रावास की योजना को मूर्त रूप दिया जा रहा है। 9 करोड़ रुपए की लागत से 84 छात्राओं के लिए हॉस्टल बन रहा है। भविष्य में उसका विस्तार करने की भी योजना है। 15 करोड़ रुपए की लागत से पुणे के लाहौटी हॉस्टल के पुनर्विकास की भी योजना है, जिससे कुल 310 अतिरिक्त विद्यार्थियों को आवास की सुविधा उपलब्ध करवाई जा सकेगी और हॉस्टल की कुल क्षमता 1200 तक पहुंच जाएगी। सोलापुर में एक मॉडर्न CBSE स्कूल। सोलापुर में MVPM के विद्यालय आज बहुत सराहनीय काम कर रहे हैं। 3500 से भी अधिक विद्यार्थी आज यहाँ अपना भविष्य बना रहे हैं। बदलती अपेक्षाओं और मांगों को देखते हुए यहाँ एक आदर्श CBSE स्कूल के निर्माण का विचार भी आरंभ हो चुका है। पुणे में एक आधुनिक निवासी शैक्षणिक संकुल, सेंटर ऑफ एक्सीलेंस इन पुणे। पुणे स्थित महेश विद्यालय के कोथरूड परिसर के भावी विकास के लिए एक विस्तृत योजना तैयार है। इसके अंतर्गत इंग्लिश मीडियम तथा सेमी इंग्लिश मीडियम स्कूलों के लिए अलग अलग 6 मंजिला टावर बनाने तथा 400 विद्यार्थियों के लिए भव्य एवं आधुनिक निवासी शैक्षणिक भवन के निर्माण की योजना है। यहाँ विविध कौशल विकास पाठ्यक्रम चलाए जाएंगे। 35 करोड़ रुपए की लागत से इस महत्वाकांक्षी MVPM प्रकल्प को 3 चरणों में पूरा किया जाएगा। MVPM के प्रमुख शहरों में अन्य शैक्षणिक उपक्रम। बढ़ते शहरीकरण और शिक्षा सुविधाओं के अभाव के मद्देनजर स्थानीय माहेश्वरी भाई बहनों की मदद से औरंगाबाद, नागपुर, अमरावती तथा लातूर जैसे प्रमुख शहरों में पुणे की तर्ज पर आधुनिक हॉस्टल और CBSE विद्यालयों जैसी शैक्षणिक सुविधाएं प्रदान करने की योजना है। प्रथम चरण में हॉस्टल बनाने का मानस है। MVPM हर माहेश्वरी परिवार का और हर माहेश्वरी युवा के लिए। कनेक्ट विद एवरी माहेश्वरी यूथ एंड फैमिली। एक अरसे से सुनते आ रहे हैं, जहां न जाए बैलगाड़ी वहां पहुंचे मारवाड़ी, और ये सच भी है। MVPM की भावी योजनाओं को देखकर लगता है कि MVPM का उद्देश्य है, जहां पर भी हो युवा मारवाड़ी वहां पहुंचे MVPM उपक्रमों की रेलगाड़ी। और ये उपक्रम है हर माहेश्वरी युवक युवती को हॉस्टल की सुविधा, जरूरतमंद युवक युवतियों को शिष्यवृत्ति और आर्थिक सहायता, शैक्षणिक क्षेत्र में विशेष सफलता अर्जित करने वाले माहेश्वरी युवाओं का सम्मान, जरूरतमंद युवाओं को स्वावलंबी बनाने में सहायता, शैक्षणिक, व्यावसायिक तथा स्पर्धात्मक परीक्षाओं के लिए प्रशिक्षण का विशेष प्रबंध, नवोदित उद्योजकों को उनके स्टार्टअप्स के लिए सुविधाएं एवं सहायता, जरूरतमंद युवाओं को अपना संपर्क नेटवर्क बढ़ाने की दृष्टि से विविध मेंटरशिप कार्यक्रमों का संयोजन तथा अन्य सहायता, समाज प्रेमियों का दान जरूरतमंद युवाओं तक पहुंचे, इस उद्देश्य से एक प्रभावी मंच उपलब्ध कराना। मुझे इस बात की बड़ी प्रसन्नता है कि MVPM इन योजनाओं को साकार करने की दिशा में पहला कदम बढ़ा चुका है। आज माहेश्वरी समाज की आदरणीय त्रिमूर्ति द्वारा देखा गया स्वप्न वास्तविकता में बदलता नजर आ रहा है। धन्यवाद।
That was MVPM introduction video. So let's move on. I welcome everyone. Myself Amol Butada. I am a committee member of MVPM International Connect. I welcome you all to today's session. Now I will ask Balkrishna Ji Karwa to give us introduction of MVPM International Connect. Balkrishna Ji Karwa is Vice President MVPM, and MVPM International Connect is his brainchild. So Balkrishna Ji Karwa, please start.
Yeah, thank you, Amolji. Good afternoon, everyone. As Amolji has introduced myself, I am Balkrishna Karwa, and I am calling on behalf of Maheshwari Vidya Pracharak Mandal, that is MVPM. And we welcome Harish Ji Malu along with all professionals, esteemed students, and my colleagues of MVPM International Connect. Thank you for your gathering here today as we embark on a journey of unlocking global opportunities. It is not just about studying or working abroad, it's about opening the door to a world of possibilities. It provides an experience that broadens your horizons, challenges your perspective, and prepares you for a global career. Australia, with its world-class education system, offers more than just a degree, with diverse jobs for every skill set, in bustling cities to serene countryside. Australia is also not just a country, but it's land of opportunity where kangaroos are like colleagues who cheer for your success, and coffee is so strong it practically jump starts your productivity, maybe with late night study sessions. Where, like India, cricket is practically a religion, and the place is also known for its picturesque landscapes, stunning beaches, and the iconic Sydney Opera House. Australia is one of the most diverse and multicultural continent in the world who appreciate a good work-life balance and will be enhancing your quality of life. Friends, you have just heard the history and diversified educational activities of MVPM and would now like to inform you the objective of International Connect, which is to create awareness of MVPM brand and the Maheshwari educational movement with international students, parents, business owners, and professionals. Under this MVPM's International Connect program, we intend to facilitate students to pursue their international studies and create help groups for students who are going abroad to give them the initial assistance they require in a foreign country, assisting professionals in finding opportunities for new occupations abroad. Provide support to professionals who desire to return to India. Also, in order to bring together Maheshwaris, businesses who share the same goals of starting international trade, we also plan to arrange meetings with consulates, embassies, foreign ministers, and international chambers of commerce. We wish to create a support or help group for parents where they can exchange experiences, including difficulties faced by parents living alone in India, medical support, travel arrangements, and asset management while they are away. Also, arranging a meeting between Maheshwari children, seasoned professionals, and businessmen traveling to India or abroad as part of the Global Exchange Program. Create a global footprint of MVPM by collaborating on projects with Maheshwari organizations around the world in the areas of education, professional development, and cultural activities. Friends, as part of the International Connect program, we want to have monthly meetings to increase member involvement in information sharing and spark interest in MVPM's effort so that we can create international brand ambassadors. I would, before Harish Ji Loya is introduced, I would request you have to, I make two requests to you all. This is about a 1500 Maheshwari's WhatsApp group, and let's make it active and dynamic. And also, while visiting abroad, please visit to all Maheshwaris and promote the educational movement of MVPM. Thank you and wish you all a happy Navratri. Over to Amolji, please.
Yes, thank you, Balkrishna ji. So as Balkrishna ji said, MVPM, you all can really help in growing this MVPM International Connect initiative. So today's session is taken by Harish Gopal Loya. He has dialed in from Sydney, Australia, and I'm sure all of you have heard him giving great details about Australia in the last overview session. And now, rather the teaser which you all have seen, thanks to him to giving us such details, and we could create such interesting teasers. So Harish Gopal Loya, he is a manager, Team Global Express, Sydney, Australia. He has traveled world, rather he has stayed in multiple countries and finally has reached Australia. So without taking much time, let me ask him to take over. Harish Gopalji, please take over. You can share your screen.
Thank you, Amulji. Yeah, करवाई जी ने जब ऑस्ट्रेलिया का इतना सुंदर इंट्रोडक्शन दिया तब मुझे लगा कि यार बहुत बाकी है अभी तक देखना ऑस्ट्रेलिया, बट या सबको नवरात्रि की शुभकामनाएं एंड लेट्स बिगिन द सेशन. आई विल शेयर माय स्क्रीन. लेट मी नो गाइस once you my screen. Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, so very quickly, as you guys know, this session will be for Australia, and very quickly I will be getting into all of you how you can come to Australia and what are the different visa pathways, etc., etc. But before we get into that, right, I just wanted to quickly set up the background and why we are doing this today. So, am I audible, Amoji, clearly? So, one request to everyone. If you want to ask any questions in the middle of session, you can type that into the chat window, or if you want to raise your hand in the middle of the session, you can do that, because I want this session to be a little bit interactive so that I can understand whether you are getting any benefits out of this session. Plus, if you can write down something about your number of experience or from where you coming from as a student or as which profession you are into, so that will help me to drive the session in that direction, right? I mean, while we are discussing this, just do it in the chat box. So the first very important point is why all of us wanted to move to Australia, right? I have around 16 plus years of experience. I stayed in the UK, multiple countries of European unions, and then finally I landed in Australia. So I think the most popular answer will be like, we need to earn more money, better work lifestyle, life balance, healthcare facilities, education facilities, etc., etc., right? I mean, this is very common phenomenon when everybody wanted to move to Australia or any other country for that matter, right? But the thing over here is, it doesn't matter like in which country you want to migrate. I think the point here is the motivation for going to the different countries is same, but really it depends on where you are investing your energy, right? Some country attract the few people, right, where they are reducing the immigration policies or immigration barriers, basically making the immigration policies simpler. Whereas some countries are really, really picky. They have strict immigration laws, rules, regulations. And then it comes to the discussion where you want to invest your energy, where you want to invest your time effectively and wisely. So that is the key fundamental thing, right? Before you decide to migrate in any other country, just think over, okay, how much time I need to invest? Think about the background, think about the immigration policies, and think about weather as well, because as I said, you are going to change your life. The weather can play the fundamental role here, right? For me, it was a fundamental role. I was in the UK for 6 years. I don't like cold weather. I decided to come to Australia. That may be the factor for you guys as well, right? And these are some of the countries in the world who probably easier to migrate. New Zealand, Australia, Germany, you can get the job seeker visa, go over there, explore the opportunities. UK has recently launched youth mobility visa, where if you are less than 30 years, you can sponsor yourself for 2 years, go to the UK, find out the job, work over there, change the visa category. Spain, Netherlands, if you are millionaires, billionaires, like you can buy the home and take the citizenship, etc., right? But coming back to Australia, why you want to go to Australia? Obviously, it's a liberal country. There is equality over here. As I mentioned, like every single thing which you look for the country to migrate, Australia gives you better work-life balance, flexible migration policies, number of visa categories available to migrate to Australia. And I think, I don't know whether you guys are aware, it also offers the dual citizenship based on whether your home country is offering the dual citizenship, right? So that's the added advantage with Australia. And I don't know whether right hand side you can see it, but I'll just slightly move this. If you look at the overall count in terms of number of people Australia want for this year, it's closely like 190,000, right? Approximately. I mean, the count, why I say approximately, because recently count has been increased. And out of that, 72% of the count is reserved for skilled professionals. When I say skilled professional means you have completed a degree in your particular field. It doesn't matter whether you are an engineer or accountant, or for that matter, just a Bachelor of Computer Science. It doesn't matter whether you are a teacher, whether you are a healthcare professional. When I talk about skilled professional, which means your degree can be assessed via one of the skill assessment body of Australia. That's the definition of skilled professionals. Okay, and I'll come to that very quickly. But if you look at the numbers, 72% of those count has been reserved for skilled professionals this year. I'm talking about 23-24. And out of that, obviously, 28% is a family path. Let's not discuss that, but there are some numbers on that direction as well. Now, before I get into those visa categories and point-based systems and skill assessment bodies, etc., I really wanted you to understand, right, one thing. Of course, you have a big dream when you decide to migrate to the different country, right? And this is one of my favorite figure. And everybody who decide to migrate to the country will go under these phases for sure, whether you like it or not, right? For example, when you decided to migrate, it may be Australia, it may be any other country. You are super excited, right? Because until you land into that country, you are super excited. Like you are going to Australia, and you have some dreams to follow it, right? And you think about your all hard work and putting those together to pursue your dream, right? But as soon as you land in the country, for an initial couple of months, you will realize, okay, it's difficult to find the home over here, because you need a couple of references. You need to walk on the street, or because you don't have a car for initial couple of months, right? You are missing your families, friends, homesickness, right? And obviously then you need to fight against those bad feelings. And as I mentioned, right, Australia is a great country, but it's not a paradise, right? It's not a heaven. You will face challenges. It's quite expensive country. It has a poor public transport, which means you will struggle. You will feel that you need a car, but you don't have the money. Obviously, if you can afford that straight away, this curve can tell you how long your journey can sustain. But on an average, if I talk about, you should give your at least 18 months before you decide to think otherwise, right? Because as I mentioned, once you landed, you will struggle to settle down, and slowly, once you start getting your references, build your connections, and thanks to MEPN for that matter, right? If you build your connection from the day one before you land into any other country, it really helps you, particularly in Australia, connection works, right? And sometimes you need to work in a different sectors because you're not getting the job in a field which you're working on. And that's perfectly all right, because you need to have that keep going approach in your mind, so that at some point, once you build your connection and references, certainly you get your job. I mean, if I talk about my experience, when I landed in Australia, obviously I was having job back in India, but my wife couldn't have the job because she was on dependent visa. She took a couple of months to get the first job in Australia, but that is perfectly all right. That is expected. And that kind of mentality you should have before you decide to migrate to any other country, because it is quite expensive, right? I'm not trying to scare you guys. I'm just giving you warning so that you be prepared before you decide to migrate to any other country, not only Australia, right? Now let's get back to business. Australia. Why Australia? Because obviously we've discussed about better work lifestyle and other stuff, but most importantly, it has a lot of job shortages. These particular graphs, tables, numbers, I have taken it from Australia Bureau of Statistics. It's the official data, sensitive data. And if you look at, if I just quickly zoom it, after COVID, May 2020, if you look at the number of job vacancies, it has almost doubled. I'm not joking, it's almost double. There are a lot of shortages, because if you remember, Australia was probably the last country who opened the door after COVID. Like this country was completely shut down for 2.5 years, completely shut down. Nobody can come in, nobody can go out, right? And obviously that produces the gap in terms of skilled labors and the shortages. And if you look at the number of sectors where the vacancies are there, every year in the month of May, the Australian Bureau of Statistics produces the number with respect to different sectors. And this figure is from May 2023. And if you look at let me just quickly move this. If you look at the number of sectors versus vacancies, like industries versus number of percentage, it's quite big number. Like if you look at any other sector apart from IT, like when I talk about few people, right? When I discuss with a few people, most of them are IT. Like if you are electronics engineer, okay, can I go to Australia? If I am a healthcare professional, can I go to Australia or any other country? Or I'm not an engineer, what should I do? Can I still go? So my take over here is, guys, it is not for IT. Rather, I would say IT market is quite down currently in Australia because of obviously the fight and the recessions. But if you look at the other sectors, the other day when plumber was at my house, he charged me for $200 for an hour, right? So it's not about whether you are doing a plumbing job or teaching job. Everybody is professional here. Everybody is skilled professional here, and they have their own due respect when they work in their sector, right? So I'll just move on. So based on those numbers, this was a number which tell you that, okay, you are telling me, okay, these many shortages are there, but what about whether people are getting those many rounds of invitations? Yes. So if you look at that, teaching sector got the PR with 65 points, 80 points, and total number of invitations sent in 2022, November 2022. And this was the epic, right? This was the epic. If you look at the skilled migrant visa category 189, December 2022, 35,000 people got the invite from offshore and onshore, both. 35,000 in a single month. This is a big number, guys. So normally, if you look at the entire year, the split is those numbers have been splitted for entire year. And now we are talking about in one particular month, people got 35,000 invites. Australia has given 35,000 invites on the PR category, permanent residence category. Anyway, so I hope this probably give you an idea about what are the shortages and whether Australia is working towards that for fulfilling it. And the main question is, okay, you are telling me, okay, these many shortages are there and these many invitations rounds are going on. What should I do to get this, right? So there are a number of visa categories, guys. So I'm not going to get into all the visa categories. I think there are probably more than 100 subclasses in Australia through which you can come to Australia. But the most popular, and I have given the link, you can go through it over here. But the most popular visa categories, if I talk about, is obviously the study route is a different route. Let's not talk about it. But the 482 visa category. 482 means employer sponsorship visa, which means Australian employer has given you the sponsorship to come to Australia and work for that company, which means you don't have to do anything. They will offer you the sponsorship. They will offer you the visa. You just need to pack your bags and come here, because from day one, you have the job in hand. Another popular visa category is 186. This is a straight PR, permanent residency, but it has an employer nomination scheme, which means employer is giving you the sponsorship to get the PR, right? And again, there are two subclasses over here where you can come directly, direct entry pathway, where from offshore you can get the 186 and you land in the day one in the Australia on permanent residency category, and it's been sponsored by a company. And there is a transition pathway where person is in Australia on 482 visa for a couple of years, and it changes the visa from 482 to 186. But both the visa categories, as I mentioned, is company dependent. You need to find an employer who can sponsor you. And I will explain how you can do that at the end of this session, right? Of course, people might think, okay, I'm in India. How can I get the sponsorship? Yes, you can get it. I am the example for you. I was in India. I got the sponsorship. I packed my bags and come here. Okay. So it is possible, and I can tell you how you can get it. But Now, I think I would say that most of the people will go for 189 and 190 because Australia is one of the country where you can get the job. I mean, sorry, you can land in the country without having the job, right? Similar to Canada. So, which means it has a point-based immigration system based on your age, education, and other stuff. You get the point. So what I want you guys to do is, if I just give this link to you, or I will open this first of all on my laptop, and can you see this screen? My browser is visible, guys.
No, your PPT is visible.
Oh, really? Okay. Let me share it again. Hold on. Sorry, can you see it now or no? Let me
Mm,
stop and share again. So I need to share entire window probably. 1 minute. So I don't have rights to share entire monitor. Maybe what I can do is I need to stop and share again, one by one maybe. Let me do it. So hopefully you can see the website now, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So guys, so I don't know how many of you are aware that Australia offers the point-based immigration policy, which means based on your age, you will get some points. So obviously, if you are between 18 to 25, you get maximum points, say 25, and 25 to 33, maximum points 30, and then 33 to 40, 25, and 15. I mean, self-explanatory, no need to explain, right? So depending on your age, you get this many points. And I would tell you, if you are a professional of 5+ years of experience or 8+ years of experience, most of us will fall under this category. Most of us. I would say, after spending a couple of years in the industry, you start thinking about bending your career to abroad, right? If you are into this category, I would say, guys, you are very lucky. Please work on it. You should not waste your time, right? If you are into this category, because at this point, maybe once I will explain that why you are lucky, but let's crack on with the other points. English language skills. So obviously there are different English language tests you can do, IELTS and PT Academic, etc., etc. PT Academic is most popular because it is a computer-based English test and you can get the result in a couple of hours. But based on the score, you can get some points. So obviously, if you get a competent English, which means you are eligible, but you are not getting any points. And if you are proficient, which means 10, which is 65 plus score in each section, and the superior English, which means 79 plus score in each section, speaking, writing, reading, and listening. Okay. Based on your number of experience outside Australia, you get these points. So what I was talking about, those who are between 25 to 33 years of old, you will have 8 years of experience from when you started your career till age of 32, which means you are getting the maximum point for your age and the maximum point for your occupation, overseas skilled employment. So that is I would say, sweet spot to get the maximum points. Okay. So if I just quickly move on to the other things, like if you have spent some time in Australia with the number of years of experience, you get some points. If you have done your education in Australia based on the qualification, if you are a bachelor, if you are a doctorate degree or anything like that, you get some points, right? So if you're a bachelor of engineering or any bachelor degree, you get 15 points. If you have done diploma, you get 10 points. And depending on your specialist education, I think let's not talk about it. Unless you are a doctor or you are doing research, you get additional 10 points. And again, if you have done your education in Australia regional area, you get additional 5 points. If after education, if you have done professional year in Australia, you get another 5 points, and so on. This is one of the most important thing, guys. Nowadays, many people have started giving credential language community test, which means prior to COVID, this test was only available in Australia. If you are not in Australia, you can't score these 5 points. But after COVID, they started realizing that you can still do the exam on the internet, right? You can give it from anywhere in the world. And nowadays, many of Indians are giving this exam as well and getting those additional 5 points, right? It's an easy one. And as I mentioned, if you have studied in regional area of Australia, you get some other points. So if you ask me, there are a number of ways where you can get those points. Now, if I ask you, right, so if I just quickly give you the link where you can find out yourself how many points currently you can get, right? So I can give you 5 minutes, guys, if you want to quickly check for yourself. So based on our discussion right now, if you want to check, okay, and if you want to ask any questions on that particular point, please do it. I wanted to know, like, if you want to paste your points in the chat box, like how many points you are currently getting. And I can tell you that what are the different ways you can improve your score. And I will tell you that currently the cutoff for 189 visa is between, I think last year it was 85. And if you are on a 190 visa, which means you are getting additional state sponsored points as well. So let me share that screen as well. Hold on. Which screen are you currently seeing, guys? I'm sorry. I mean, this is
Point table,
this is not
the website
okay.
point table.
Okay. Okay. So let me open that page. Guys, are you interested to do this calculation now, or you want to continue with the case studies and how you can do it further? If you have any questions, please raise your hand. You can also write down in the chat box, guys, if you don't want to speak. So what you need to do in this particular thing is, so once you hit the link, select 189, which means you are not going to get 5 additional points for the state sponsorship. If you select 190 visa category, that visa category is for state sponsorship, which means there are 5 to 6 states in Australia. For example, NSW, Victoria, Queensland, and one of the state is giving you the sponsorship to come to their state and stay over there, right? That visa category is called as skill nominated visa under 190. Whereas 189 visa allow you to stay in any state of Australia, but additional those 5 points you will not get it, right? So do you want to do it, guys? Can anybody confirm in the chat window? At least if you guys are not doing it right now, and if you want to do it later on, I'm okay, but I just want that confirmation in the chat box. So what you need to do is just select whatever is applicable to you based on whatever we discussed,
Harish,
and see how many points you get.
hello, Harishji.
Yes.
Actually, what happened is some people were facing problem with the link joining in, especially from the hostels. They
Okay.
have, I think some of those folks have just joined. So if in case you want to again just start talking about the link of the point system and the years
Okay.
when you had that PPT, right? In PPT, you had how many years you can really explore. Maybe you can start with that and quickly move on to the point system.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you.
That's fine. Just guys, Amol, you confirm me that you still see my screen, right, browser?
Right now, I'm seeing points calculator.
Point table for skilled independent visa,
Yes.
189.
No, select visa subclass. Just a minute. I'm seeing this window is blocking me.
Yeah,
Just-
this is the window I'm talking about. Are you able to see the screen?
I
Point
see.
table for skilled independent visa subclass 189.
No, I see points calculator. Select visa subclass.
Point calculator. Okay. So this is the problem, right? So let me share again. How can I share my entire monitor? Because I can't see that option here.
Actually, when you click on share screen, the first one selected is desktop one. That will share everything.
Okay, let's do it. Okay. Okay. Can you see now better?
Just a minute. Yes, points table for skilled independent visa subclass 189.
Okay. So as per Amol's request, I'm quickly repeating this, guys, and then you can work out between yourself. So what I was talking about is Australian point-based system, like on which criteria Australia is giving you the points. Okay. So as I mentioned, it is based on your age, education, and English language test, right? So I was talking about if you are falling under these of between those ages, you are going to get those points. And I was talking about if you are between 25 to 33, that is one of the best time where you should think about it, right? Because you are getting the most points for the age. Okay. And then I was talking about if you are going to appear for the English language test, there are multiple languages, IELTS, PT Academic. PT Academic is most popular because it is computer-based test and it gives you the result in a couple of hours. But based on the score, if you are scoring more than 79 score in each of the section, reading, writing, speaking, listening, then you get 20 points. And if you're getting more than 65, then you're getting 10 points. Of course, if you score more than 50, then you will be eligible, but you won't be able to get points. So the minimum points which required for PR is 65. If you are scoring less than 65, which means you cannot file your expression of interest. That is the first step of applying the PR. Okay. You cannot file your expression of interest if you are not scoring 65 points. Okay. So as I mentioned, it's age, your education, English language score, etc., etc. So I was talking about it.
Sorry to jump in between, especially for students. As what the point which I've come to my mind is, if you are thinking about it, first thing you should start doing is improve your English, because 20 points will really make a lot of difference.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of difference. It makes, I mean, I will tell you that those who are in Australia without permanent residency, they can't get the PR if you are not scoring 79 plus in English. If you are at offshore, you are still getting the PR with the 65 plus points. And I don't know why Australia does that, because they invite offshore people with the less points. But once you land in Australia, you really need to compete with the Australians, those who are in Australia. Okay. Right. Skill migrant. So as I mentioned, education, if you are bachelor, 15 points. If you are doctor or something like that, 20 points, right? If you are done diploma, 10 points. If you are done master, another 10 extra points. If you are done the education in Australia, fine, 5 points. If you are done the education in regional area of Australia, another 5 points. I was talking about this credential, community language, where many people use this nowadays after COVID. Earlier, this exam was only available in Australia. Now, after COVID, they realized that this exam is really expensive. It costs you around $810, but people give it for 5 points. You need to understand that competition is really high, and for each of those 5 points, people literally fight. Okay, many of the people from offshore give this exam. Why? Because it is easy. It's basically you need to convert wherever you are comfortable, English to Hindi and English to Marathi and Marathi to English and Hindi to Marathi, 2 dialogues and other stuff. Let's not talk about this. Maybe I can have a separate session how to appear for PT and NATI on a different day. But what I'm saying is, now this is another important point, right? Partner skill. If you're not married, if you're single, straight away 10 points. And this is where the funny part comes, right? If you are married, then your partner need to give the English language test, and partner need to do skill assessment, then you get 10 points. Obviously, you can't tell that what was my fault if I got married, right? But that is the way it works. Okay. So if you are single, straight away 10 points. If you are married, then your partner need to again appear for the same English language test, and she need to do or he need to do their skill assessment. And if that is successful, that way you get those 10 points. Right? Any doubt? So so why I'm dragging this, maybe we still have some time, right? So why I'm dragging this, guys, because this is the heart, right? You should understand whether you are eligible, first of all. When you know that, okay, I'm getting 65 points, but how can I get it to 80 points? or 85 points. Then you start thinking about NATI exam, partner skill assessment, partner English language test, or any other stuff which will give you the points, right? So think over it, like, because I'm scoring 65 points and I'm eligible to get PR, you won't be getting PR with the 65 points. Not at all. If you are talking about 2016, 2014, at that time people used to get PR in 70 points, right? So I leave that with you, whether you want to spend this particular time to find out how many points you are getting right now, and then you can work on it, right? So guys, you have the link in your chat box, right? If you want to go through it, think about how many points you are getting. And as I mentioned, if you select 190, you will get additional 5 points because that particular state is going to sponsor you. Okay. Do you want me to quickly show you how you can do this, guys? Amolji, do you want to show this?
I know it's getting late there in Australia. So right now it's just 13 minutes to go for 4. So I will leave it to you. If you think you have 5 minutes, you want to go over it, that's fine.
Maybe what we can do is, maybe at the end, if you have 5 minutes, I can quickly show you that point calculator, how it works. But people have got the link in the PPT, and as well as I have pasted in the chat box. If you want to do that activity in the background, guys, please do it. But just find out whether you are eligible or not, right? That is really interesting.
Sure. The reason I have to make sure the next part of this session, especially searching job, that is very important, and I want everyone to have their attention and you spending some time on that. So maybe we can move ahead on that.
Yeah, sure. Now, if you know what I was talking about, skill assessment, and it doesn't matter whether you are an engineer or teacher or it's about skilled professional, right? So based on your degree, so for example, let's say you are a Bachelor of Engineering, right? And you say that you have done your education in electronics, but Australia won't recognize that, right? Australia doesn't care about it. What it says is that particular degree should be assessed with the nominated body. Okay. So for example, if you are a computer professional, for example, you have done the engineering and you have spent around 8 years in IT professional, you can get your degree assessment done or professional career assessment done via ACS, Australian Computer Society, which will assess your degree as well as your experience and will tell you that whether you match the standard with Australia, right? For example, you are an engineer and not into computer sector, but any other sector, civil engineer or electronics engineer. There is a government body which is called Engineering Australia, okay, which will assess your degree as well as your experience in that particular sector and will tell you, okay, yes, you have 15 years of experience, 8 years of experience, or 4 years of experience. And on that basis, when you look at the point calculator, right, I was telling you whether if you have 8 years of experience, then you get 15 points. That 8 years will be decided by these government bodies, right? I will just quickly show you. You simply cannot say that, okay, I have done engineering and I have spent 15 years in IT professional, which means I can score those many points. No, you can't, because that degree and the pathway, your experience should get assessed by one of these agencies. If you look at the entire list, it's a huge. And for example, if you are a chartered accountant, there is a separate body for that. If you are a teacher, separate body for that. If you are into healthcare sector, separate body for that. So you need to understand which body I should go for, right? Sorry. Am I clear, guys? So
Yeah.
there is one website, I can share the name at the end, where you can just type your professional and that will give you the list of visa categories available for that profession and which government body can assess your degree. I can give that link maybe at the end of it. But do you understand what I mean by skilled professional and how you can score the point for the experience? Am I clear? Can I move to next session?
Yes.
And this is pretty clear, right? How you can do the skill assessment is there are different guidelines available on their website. For example, let's take example of you are an engineer and you are into IT sector, right? So what you are going to do is first step is your government body is Australian Computer Society. That society want you to submit your all the experience letters, pay slips, bank statement, and your roles and responsibilities on a company letterhead. And I know that many Indian companies, IT companies may not give you the roles and responsibilities on the company letterhead. What you can do is you can take the notarized letter from your superior and then submit those letters as a experience, which can tell you that, okay, that I know this person and he was working these roles and responsibilities, etc., etc., right? And then that is acceptable if company is not giving that. And you need to maintain all this thorough record of your entire career, and then ACS will take around couple of months to get back to you telling, okay, you are successfully completed skill assessment, and according to me, you have qualified for 8 years of experience. Though you said, okay, I have completed my 15 years in industry. It is up to them. And their guidelines is, if you are not computer engineer or IT professional or IT from the IT engineer background, then they will deduct 4 years from your experience. I was just taking one example just to make you aware how this works. Okay. If you are above 45, you cannot apply for PR. Simple. That age was 50 earlier, I think back in 2016, but they recently changed it to 45. There are some exceptions. For example, if your package is above $180,000 and etc., but no chance, right? So think about it. If you're above 45, you can't get the PR. Nobody can stop you to come to Australia on a 482 visa, which is being sponsored by employer, but you can't apply for PR. And I just mentioned this is a point calculator. This is a competent English score. I mean, there are some links I have given where you can find out IELTS and PTA academics and other stuff. Skilled occupation, I just shown you where you can go. But if I just quickly open this link, I think this was a link I was looking for. I can quickly show you. I hope when I'm switching between the screen, you can still see my screen, right?
Yes, we can see. And
Okay.
for everyone, so information, this presentation will be shared on MVPM International Connect groups, especially the student and professional group. So don't worry, you will have access to all this information as well as this video is getting recorded. This you can also refer later. Right now, focus on what Harish is talking about.
Right. So I was talking about, right? So somebody asked me the question, okay, how can I know that which visa am I eligible and which government body can give my skill assessment? So for example, if I just say I am a software engineer, for example. So just search your profession, where into, and occupation software engineer. Each of the occupation in Australia and New Zealand is been referenced by 6-digit code, 261313, which means software engineer. And it can tell me that this particular profession can apply these many visa categories. This is absolutely important, guys. Say, I don't have, I don't run any consultancy. I just wanted to help you guys. Okay, this is absolutely important. Why? Because you end up doing skill assessment where you are not qualified for 189. What is the use of that? Nothing. So this is really important, right? So if you look at the software engineer, this is 189. Yes, this profession allow 189 visa. Perfect. Which authority body I can give? SCS. So SCS will assess my skill assessment. Take any other example. I am a civil engineer, right? Civil engineer. 233211 NZSC code. Am I eligible for 189? Yes. Engineering Australia. Perfect. Now I will give you the example. Okay. Software tester. Come down. Can you see 189 here? No. So if you end up doing your skill assessment in software tester, you can't apply 189. The same government assessment authority will give you the profession as a software tester, but you can't apply 189 because this comes under shortage occupation list, whereas software engineer comes under medium to long-term shortage occupation list. Am I clear, guys? I hope this is helpful. Okay, this is really important.
Yes, it
And
is.
you take any. Sorry.
I am saying it is helpful.
Is-
It's good information.
Yeah. Okay, I'm moving on. So let's assume that you have completed your skill assessment. Fantastic. You have 8+ years of experience. You got 15 points. You are between 33 to 39. You are getting 25 points. You scored around 20 points in PT. And then your partner is skilled, skilled occupied, skilled professional. She got an additional 5 points and she appeared for English exam and got another 5 points. Overall, and then you appeared for NATI as well. This gives you 85 points, right? Whatever I spoke right now will give you 85 points. Then you got 190, which is a state sponsor, will give you additional 5 points, 190, which means 90 points. A good number to get the PR, a very good number to get the PR, right? But if you look at the timelines, you think about it today, you prepare the documentation for ACS, let's say a couple of months. ACS will take another 3 months to come back with the answer. Unless you have skill assessment, then you can't even submit the expression of interest, which means you can't even apply for the PR. Then in parallel, you work for the English language test while you are waiting for the skill assessment result. Then all of a sudden, after 6 months, you realize, okay, I have everything ready. Then you submit expression of interest. That will take additional, I don't know how many months to realize Australian government that you are in the queue and you are making some points on which they can give you the PR. So if you look at it, if you think it now, it will take a year of time to get the PR invitation. And once you submit all your documents, it takes additional 6 months to get the stamp on your visa. Like, it's any paperless, but you get the visa via email for Australia. So it's the journey for, I would say, 1 year, guys. So if you are really serious for Australia, start preparing now, right? And that was the case study I wanted to explain you about 189 and 190. These are the most popular. Everybody apply, and I hope that this particular session will help you to find out where you stand and where you need to work towards. And as I mentioned, if you are applying for NATI, CCL, which you can do it from India as well nowadays, can give you additional 5 points. Now, before I get into another pathway, which is a student visa, maybe we can have that quick discussion for 5 minutes at the end of it. But I just wanted to spend 5 minutes on this, right? So you guys think that okay, this sounds fantastic. I'm getting 85 points. I'm getting 90 points. I got a PR. Now, what is the next step, right? The next step is you need to start finding the jobs, right? Those who think that you can't get the sponsorship from India, let me show you something interesting. So what I did for you guys is obviously everybody. So seek.com.au is similar to Naukri.com in India, but this is the website where every single employer will submit their job openings. This is another opening where AustralianSkilledMigration.com.au so I will tell you one thing, right? Government bound employer to submit the openings at least in 2 websites. At least in 2 websites. It is a rule over here. So normally you will find the jobs in 3 websites. So seek.com.au or LinkedIn. This is also popular, but may not be for engineers. But what I have done for you guys is I have directly given you the link where you can find out that how many employers currently have openings who are ready to give you sponsorship. I'm not saying it may be in different sectors. So what you need to do is just go to seek.com.au/visa sponsorship, or you can just seek.com.au, go to visa sponsorship keyword and look for the job. 2310 jobs there in Australia which offers the sponsorship, which means you can come to Australia on 482 visa without following those point systems. And then once you land in Australia, obviously then you can think about whether you want to stay, whether you want to apply PR, or in which way you want to go. Yeah, but just go around. I mean, if you look at any job like chef, healthcare sectors, engineers, lot of other stuffs are there, real estate agents. The main important point here is, guys, you need to get your skill assessment done quickly with the proper authority body where you can find that there is an opening in Australia, right? Similarly, if you go to linkedin.com, what I have done is I have just quickly done the filters for you so that you can understand. So obviously there are thousands of jobs, right? There are thousands of jobs. This particular link will give you the job which offer the sponsorship. That is what I'm after. Otherwise, if you just remove this keyword and find the job, there will be thousands of jobs in Australia.
Can you paste this link in chat box?
Yeah, it is there in the email. But what I'm after is how you can come to Australia with the sponsorship if anybody wanted to do it. I have just given you the filters, guys, directly, but there are a number of openings in Australia, right? And the last point where I told you, right, there are different ways to gain the points, and this is one of the way where somebody decided to. So somebody will say, okay, I don't have enough experience, I can't score that 15 points with my skill occupation. I have just spent 3 years in industry, and I'm looking for now post graduation. And after post graduation, I'm planning to settle down in Australia. Fine. If you have that much, backup with in terms of finances and other stuff, you can still do that. And obviously there are colleges or universities in Australia which offer the sponsorship. When I say sponsorship, means they waive off some tuition fees as well, discounts, scholarships. So what is the quick? I mean, I can quickly go through it. You need to give your English exam first. This works in a different way. It's not a 189 or 190. You need to first give your English test. On the basis of your English test, you get a choice to select your university or a college on the basis of your English score. And then you apply for that, you get the confirmation of enrollment, COE, that is called as a COE, complete your medical test. There is a healthcare insurance obligations always there, like whether from day one you need an insurance over here, that is for sure, whether you are coming as a student or a PR or a 482, doesn't matter. You need to show that you can sustain here in Australia. You should have some money in your account, and prepare a good, statement of purpose, why you are coming here, what is the purpose of education, and what you are going to do, how it is going to benefit Australia, etc., etc. Prepare your documentation and submit it. But as I mentioned, right, let's say you invested around 40 lakh rupees in this, and you are going with the course which is not under skilled occupation list. What is the use? Nothing. You have spent 40 lakh rupees for education, and at the end of 2 years, you realize that the course which I completed is not under 189 or 190, which means I can't apply for PR. So think over it. I mean, whichever course you choose, if you have decided this pathway, which is subclass 500, whichever course you decided to do, make sure that that occupation is under skilled occupation list, and particularly for 189 and 190 visa category. Quickly speaking, there are more visa categories like 491, which is a regional sponsorship visa where you get additional 10 points. So 190 give you 5 points, and 491 gives you overall 15 points. Okay, which means you can't live in the cities like Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, because that visa is for regional area. I mean, you can stay 1 hour distance from Sydney. That's fine. That's the regional area. and daily commute via train. But that visa will have a higher chances to get the PR because that is called provisional visa, 491 3 years visa, which will allow you to stay for 3 years in Australia in the regional area and then provide you the permanent visa on a 191 visa category without following any points. It's a direct change in the visa from 491 to 191. And that has a higher chance because you get 15 additional points, 1-5. And believe me, Australia wanted to split their population into a regional area because Sydney, Melbourne is overly populated. Right? Any question, guys? I think we are slightly over the time, but I think whatever I wanted to cover, I have covered it. But I am hopeful that this session is really useful to you and probably giving you the flavors how you can apply for the points, what you need to do for skill assessment, how you can gather all your points, what are the different options available to gain your points. And the last but not the least, I can tell you one thing. One of the popular visa, which probably very few of you are aware, or probably I was also not aware a couple of months back. When I was in the UK, that visa was there for UK. But recently, 2 years back, Australia launched one visa category, which is called Global Talent Visa. And this is not in the list, but I can give you the overview quickly. Global Talent Visa doesn't need any experience, doesn't need any English language test, doesn't need any criteria. That is the name is Global Talent. You are recognized as a globally talented person, which means there are some job sectors like whether you are doing data science, data analytics, artificial intelligence, or any other sector, like they have listed some jobs. If you are into jobs, if you are into that sector, if you have done some education, mastery, PhD, or job in that particular sector, and if you have done some internationally recognition certifications or anything which probably going to help Australia, you straight away get that PR, Global Talent Visa. And that is a day one PR visa. Right? With that, I think, thank you very much. That's it for today, Amolji. If you have any questions, guys, feel free to ask or raise your hand. So can I take this question, Amolji?
Yes. So is there any question posted?
So somebody is asking, Palash is asking, if the person is earning, say, 10 lakh in India, what kind of earning should be targeting? So I will tell you, okay, so Australia has some minimum wages policy, right? So any experienced person, let's say between 5 to 10 years old, will be earning around $100,000 based on whether you are in Melbourne or Sydney. So when you compare that $100,000 and immediately you start converting those into INR, you will realize, okay, it's 40, 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs, something like that. But it's quite expensive, as I mentioned, right? So though the number is big, half of the salary will go to the rent, right? In $100,000, I can still say that, yes, you are okay with the 10 lakh 10 lakh INR as compared to India, where you are just day-to-day surviving and maybe you can't afford the car at that particular moment. But once your partner start earning and once your salary goes above 120, 130, 140, you probably get into the comfortable zone. But as I mentioned, initial days are always struggling periods. You need to be prepared for this.
Any more questions? Okay, so if you still have any questions, anyway, we can be connected on our WhatsApp groups. Let me quickly, where is this? Just a moment. Okay. I'm just posting a link. Those who have not joined MVPM International Connect group, announcement group, please click on this link and you can join so that you will be updated. You will also get the PPT and recording of this on these groups. thank you very much, everyone, for joining in. Thank you very much, Harish ji, for joining in so late from Australia. And we have taken a lot of your time. I know such PPT also really takes time to prepare. So we really appreciate. And especially, I'm happy that there are some students who joined in later on. I'm sure they will be benefited with today's discussion. So I will also thank MVPM for creating this platform for all of us to be connected, and an amazing initiative to really help aspiring students and professionals. Thank you very much. See you
Thank
all.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amolji. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Let me take 1 more minute to thank Kamalji. He is online. Let me pin him.
Yeah, he is on the line.
Yes, Kamalji, if you can also start your video. Kamalji, you there? Can you hear me?
Just, I think, left.
Oh, he left?
Just now he has left.
Okay, because I was carrying this gift which I received from him.
Oh,
I wanted to show him that. Okay. Anyway, so I will drop him a message, probably talk to him. Thank you, everyone. Nice talking to you. Looking forward to next sessions.
thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Thank you, Amolji, and thank you, Harishji, for coordinating this event. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.